Welcome to the Meat and Potatoes podcast. We're here with Julian Wilson, who is the founder and CEO of Orderprotection. How are you?
Good. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Thanks for joining. Coming from sunny Miami, right?
Yes. Yeah, I flew in a couple days ago.
Very cool. Orderprotection's got operations in Miami and here in Utah, correct?
Yeah, we're in Lehigh or Silicon Slopes, right next to you guys.
Love it.
Yeah.
There's kind of the answer in the name, so congrats for having a name that actually applies to your business. But
Thank you.
tell us a little bit about Orderprotection, the founding story, where the idea came from.
Yeah, so Orderprotection is a widget at checkout that ensures that shoppers get their packages successfully. So if you have a issue like the carrier loses it in transit, your tracking number says delivered, and you didn't actually get it, then we'll go ahead and refund you or reship you another one, typically within a couple minutes too. So super focused on customer service, and just kind of being a recognizable badge, like you say. Part of the reason I chose that name is because it's you understand what it is. Yeah, part of the goal is to be recognizable on the checkout. So when customer sees that badge, they know what to expect.
Yeah. And we'll get into all sorts of examples and how it works. But you've got someone that is excited about a product. They buy it. They might want it within 2 days or a week. And if they're like frequent shoppers, they know that sometimes things get stolen or damaged or lost. They would pay a little bit of a premium through Orderprotection for that peace of mind, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I think like every brand has a different shipping policy. Some are a little bit more amenable than others. If your package has a tracking number that says delivered and you're saying, hey, I didn't get it, some will just tell you, you're out of luck. Sorry, we fulfilled everything on our end, and then some are a little bit more amenable. But yeah, we charge a small fee to the consumer, and then if you didn't receive it, we'll refund you. And some customers are filing, claims up to like $800 or so, and they're paying, a little over $1. So it's pretty good value in that case. Like if I order a $800 TV or something and I didn't get it, and the brand is telling me, too bad, if I paid $1.95, like and I get a full refund, it's pretty valuable. So it's good to see those claims.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned like some brands are very open and some are like tough luck, crying your Cheerios. With each one, do you and your team have to like develop that partnership and figure out what is applicable to this current brand versus others?
Yeah, I mean, we have our kind of standard framework on how we handle claims, and that's beneficial to the consumer to get kind of a unified experience across sites, just so you know what to expect. But yeah, there's stores that have some like unique requirements around like defective. For instance, if you buy like a juicer and a customer reaches out to us about it being defective, then a specific store might say, hey, can you send this macro when someone reaches out about that juicer, because we know if you send them a couple steps, they can fix it on their own. So yeah, there's some customization, but well, I think a lot of the value is just kind of having that like uniformity across brands, because it is kind of a different experience every time you shop.
Yeah.
Like when you shop with Amazon, you kind of know what to expect, but with D2C brands, there's a different policy, everything different return policy, different shipping policy. So I think by having like a recognizable logo that when you go to that site, you kind of know what you're going to get is valuable.
Yeah. So before, like, there was a lot of video cameras and doorbell cameras and stuff. You'd have to kind of rely on your neighbor saying, I saw somebody on your porch. It wasn't you. And they're like, yeah, I was supposed to get a new bag. The assumption would be that it was stolen, right? But now with like cameras and stuff, you can actually see these sons of guns doing it. So
Yeah, we
like,
we get video cam footage all the time.
so
on
they'll show you,
Yeah,
right? Here's
yeah,
proof.
yeah. Yeah, it's I wouldn't say it's as common as, people just saying, "Hey, I didn't get it," but yeah, we definitely get some funny like video cam footage of people just driving up and then running out of the car and taking boxes and leaving. And yeah, delivered not received is actually our biggest bucket of claims. So highest percentage of people file delivered not received.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
But then
pretty major problem.
they're protected, right?
If
Yeah.
yeah, if they use order
Order
protection.
protection. So do some people just classify it as like an insurance product, right? Like,
hmm
sounds like that's kind of what it is in people's minds.
Yeah, the insurance is part of it. I think the customer service is also a big part of it. We augment the brand's customer service team by providing like literally 24/7 customer service for them. And for some of these smaller brands, even kind of medium-sized brands, that's not something that they're staffed for. Uh, yeah, we have people that are responding like typically within a couple minutes. And even if you're filing a claim on like a Sunday night,
Hmm.
right, like you're gonna get a response in a couple minutes. So I think the customer service value of it too is actually a very important piece too, other than just the insurance piece. But yeah.
Yeah. So in the last couple of months, just coincidentally, we've had some really great entrepreneurs in like children's bedding and female fashion dresses,
hmm
and then like blankets and stuff. And they all had the same story of like started in the garage, started in the basement. We were like doing the packaging and shipping ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And they've scaled, but they're a trillion miles away from being like Amazon or Dick's Sports or whatever. Would you and your team reach out to companies like this and develop like the partnership and the relationship, or where did you guys start as far as your business customers?
Yeah, so we sell B2B. So yeah, that those type of brands would be a perfect fit for who we would go after. Um and yeah, we those are the type of brands we would add a lot of value to too, I think, because when you're starting a brand, you're really focused on a million things. You're focused on marketing, operations, hiring, all these things, and customer service is hard. I've worked in a multi-billion-dollar e-com company before. I've founded a pretty large e-com company, and the last thing you want to think about after you've gotten the order, packed it, picked it, shipped it, is like, oh, the customer didn't get it. So, and these are very nuanced problems, like. Um, the tracking for FedEx looks a little different than UPS, looks different than DHL. You have the international carriers, international consolidators. There's just a ton of issues that go with like after you purchase that label, what happens. So as a brand owner, like dealing with all those things is not what you want to be dealing with. Um, so yeah, I think those are kind of ideal customers for us for sure. Yeah.
Gotcha. So let's just use one of the companies that makes dresses, and let's imagine they wanted Easter dresses, and it's doesn't look like they're going to get there in time. They would, through your guys' platform and widget, be able to interact with somebody from Order Protection in kind of in lieu of the customer service of that company,
hmm
and they would at least get an answer or a refund, right?
Right.
They
Yeah.
just wouldn't be mad. There would be some
Hopefully not.
solution.
Correct. Yeah. A lot of the claims that come to us, the brand might not even know about. So we're diverting, some of the customer service from that brand needing to deal with, and we're also giving them the software so that so that it's very like easy for the customer, right?
Mm.
If you've ever shopped on, or if you've ever ordered anything from like Uber Eats and you got the wrong item, or wrong food, they have that really easy click through of, hey, I didn't get the right food, and you get a resolution quickly. But smaller brands don't always have that like easy software solution. So I think also just being able to like give the customer a link, let them give all the information up front, and then get a resolution quickly makes it something where you might say like, okay, I'll shop with that brand again, instead of being pissed about reaching out via email, going back and forth, not getting the resolution you wanted, and then just being like, oh, I'm just going to go to Amazon, or I'm going to go somewhere else and not buy from these guys again. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Which is great for the customer and the business, right? The business at least knows what's going on. They probably have data and can see trends, and then the customer has a resolution. I'm not a big shopper. We were talking a little bit before online, and so I don't have a lot of like experiences personally, but just with friends or family.
it's okay. There's a lot of other online shoppers, so
Yeah, there's a
we'll
lot.
get them.
I think there's one or two more. They're pretty reserved and normal, calm people, but boy, they get fired up
Oh yeah.
when they don't get what they
Oh yeah.
ordered.
Yeah.
And like, oh my gosh, I've never even seen this side of you. You have like 10 other things that you could have been mad about, but this is what got you. It really just
Yeah.
irks them.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you're ordering for, like birthday. A lot of women ordering like their birthday dresses, holiday dresses, things like that. And yeah, there's just little issues that happen. That like a common one is where the brand will buy a shipping label, and they'll leave it in the warehouse. The picker that's going to prepare that order just won't get it on the box and get it to the carrier, and it's pretty hard to see from data that a typical brand has. But then you'll just never get anything, right? Because that label gets lost. We call it carrier did not receive. So people file claims for that all the time, and we'll just go ahead and see that, okay, it hasn't moved in a couple days. Boom, we'll issue you a reshipment, and the brand doesn't have to do anything, because we just create a new order in their system. So yeah, if you ordered a outfit for your birthday and that happened, you'd probably be pretty mad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if we can provide a resolution in a couple minutes, you'd probably be a little bit happier.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause like a lot of the times it's like, I'm never buying from them again. Screw them. And I'm like defending this company that I don't know anything about. I'm like, it could have been like the UPS, or it could have been the warehouse. I'm like trying to defend this little company that I know nothing about, because I don't want this experience to cause them future revenue loss, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the delivery system in America is not great. I think that like other countries have a little bit higher touch delivery system, which gives them a little bit better deliverability. Like in a lot of places in Europe, the carrier will actually contact you to make sure that you're home to be able to deliver it, which is it's a harder process from the carrier, but it ensures higher deliverability. So yeah, just the fact that just the carrier system in the U.S. is a little risky. So yeah, we saw a need for that.
Yeah. And for you guys, there's probably mountains of data, and you're going to have people on your team that can decipher that and see it. But is there a particular industry that is best for you guys, as far as whether it's like sports memorabilia or Easter dresses? Is there one that you guys have targeted?
Yeah, it's a good question. I get it a lot, actually. I would say like clothing is a pretty good one for us. Just the high volume of transactions, the fact that they're shipped in a small bag instead of a box, makes them a little easier to just slip on the conveyor in the processing center and lose them. And also, like, people are oftentimes ordering like 8 items, 10 items, like bulk orders, and one of the items didn't get packed in the bag, and we'll have to go and reship them that missing item. So yeah, we've seen pretty good traction with apparel. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of industry agnostic, I guess, other than maybe wholesale, just because of the size of like wholesale orders. Yeah.
Very cool. Let's talk a little bit about your previous experience that led you to this point. You mentioned you're a big e-commerce company, previous founder. What was that? What were those experiences like, and what can you apply to this one, as far as like, I made that mistake there, I'm not going to make it here, or that went really well here, let's apply that here?
Yeah, so I was the CTO of Fashion Nova for a couple of years, which is one of the largest clothing retailers, and actually the largest site on Shopify. And when I started there, I think we were about 50 people, and then when I left, there were about 2,000. So Definitely saw a lot of the scaling challenges just with crazy volume. Dealt a lot with customer service department too, and just kind of like how the systems are connected to each other between the warehouse management system to the customer service system. And a lot of times there's a lot of disconnect there. So customer service can't really see what the warehouse is doing, which is not good for the consumer.
Yeah.
um, and yeah, so I definitely have spent a lot of time in large customer service teams and shipping, which is part of the reason why I started Order Protection. Yeah, and then after Fashion Nova, founded a e-commerce company that I bootstrapped from nothing to, I think we were doing about 30 million in revenue when I sold it. Um, and yeah, that was definitely an issue for us too, is the customer service. It was a seasonal brand too, so we sold a product that's like very we sold flowers. So Valentine's Day was obviously a huge holiday, and we had this huge amount of traffic during like late January and February, and then after that it would die off quite a bit. Um, and something that would always happen is we would have to hire like 10 to 15 customer service people that were temp people to handle the influx of customer service. And you never get the same like quality of work at that point, because it's, someone that you're hiring for kind of a temp job for a couple months, and they don't understand the business at the level of someone that would be like working there the whole year round, obviously, right? So yeah, I wanted to kind of figure out a way to be able to keep people year round for customer service and not have to scale and hire and fire and deal with all that. So with Order Protection, we're able to kind of have an economy of scale there, where because we're connected to so many brands, we can have full-time customer service people that have dealt with these issues, a million times before. So yeah, I think those experiences are pretty relevant to what we're doing now.
Yeah. Seems like you've kind of always had a passion, or at least you've been driven towards e-commerce.
Yes, I've been in the e-commerce space for about 10 years, in the like I said, technology and operations roles. And then yeah, in 2021, kind of wanted to jump into tech. And I started uh, when I was young. I was a programmer. Like my first job, I was a programmer. So kind of started in tech before tech was as cool as it is now.
Hmm.
Like no one really knew what a programmer was at the time. They're like, oh yeah, you like do something on computers, and like HTML was the thing. Like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, you build websites.
Yeah.
And then yeah, about 10 years ago, kind of did less of that and got into the like operations and tech. Uh, yeah. So
Yeah.
happy to be back in tech.
There you go. And you mentioned you're the CTO at Fashion Nova. Are you the CEO and CTO of Order Protection?
No, I was saying I was the CTO
Yeah.
in 2016. This
Yeah.
was, yeah, and then started my company, my ecom company in 2019, and sold it in 2021, and then started Order Protection.
Gotcha.
Uh,
But from a technical perspective, you have a CTO at Order Protection, or are you wearing both hats? Like you're the CEO and you're the technical guy?
I mean, we have a director of engineering, but I would say I understand programming and engineering teams well enough to kind of navigate, what they need to be doing and how we can scale. I think I'm definitely more product focused and less sales focused.
Hmm.
So sales has been something where I've had to go and like hire a VP of sales to come in with experience and kind of show me how to navigate that from past experiences. But yeah, from a technical perspective, like I'm pretty involved in product and running the engineering team. Yeah.
Very cool. So 2021 was probably a pretty interesting time to jump into something like Order Protection, because it's been pretty frothy. Not me, but everyone else is obviously ordering tons of stuff online. As far as like scaling, right? How do you guys roadmap that out? I know there's lots of methodologies, OKRs or lean startup. How have you guys built your business to kind of project this growth?
Yeah, I was definitely on the sales side, so I'm probably not going to answer this question as good as I could. But I mean, we have a product that's very applicable to every e-com brand. So I think it's a very large market, obviously, and we've been mainly doing kind of outbound marketing. I've heard typically a lot of companies are doing a lot of inbound stuff, running a lot of ads and whatnot. But I'm a little traumatized from running an e-com business and kind of giving all your money to Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
So I did part of like wanting to start the business was like, hey, we can go and get a business to business account that's good for, year or multi-year contract instead of like having to get a ton of individual consumers. So we haven't done a ton of inbound yet. So yeah, just been kind of scaling the sales team with SDRs, account executives that are reaching out to brands and yeah,
Yeah.
building the sales team. And yeah, I guess just scale plan from my perspective is like trying to build a really useful product that adds a lot of value to the brand. And I think like if you have a good product that it's gonna sell itself for the most part. Uh, so yeah,
Yeah.
I'm focused on the product.
Focused on your strengths and get other people to do the rest. Pretty good playbook there. Um, with companies like you, there's often fundraising, and there's going to be a lot of listeners that are either fundraising now or they will in the near future. So, what was the process like for you, and what wisdom can you share of your experience for this next generation that will do the same thing?
Oof, tough question for the next generation at least. This is the first company I've raised from private equity from. I had raised a little bit of money from my e-commerce company, but it was from a private investor. It wasn't as structured. So I would definitely say for anyone trying to raise, like have your P&L together, have your accounting like down to a T because like you want to get that set up early so that when you go and wanting to raise money that it's very clean. I've had businesses where I kind of go and like set up the QuickBooks later and set up kind of like get the accounting in order later, and I think that is a way bigger project than it is if you do it from the beginning. And then just trying to find someone that you can work with that has a strong finance background to help with future projections. So you want to get the historical stuff cleaned up, and then you want to get your FP&A type stuff together. I was lucky enough to get connected with the my first employee here who lives in Utah that came from a finance background, and he helped us a lot with putting together the model and doing everything that PE and VC wants to see. So I definitely say just kind of get your ducks in a row and try to find a strong finance guy for raising.
Yeah. And then it sounds like you're prepared, whether you need it or not. At least you're like squared away. And if something weird happens, you don't have to do a big old production to get ready. You're just kind of always, all the books are clean and everything's there is presentable. With being in two locations, how are you dividing up resources? Sales versus marketing, engineering versus product. Is it all remote and everyone's rowing in the same direction, or are you going to have kind of different departments in different geographic areas?
So I'm really enjoying remote first. We are remote first. We have people all over the U.S., all over the world. Yeah, we have people in California, Indiana, Miami, Utah, kind of all over. And yeah, I think like the past few years have changed the workplace a lot, obviously, and people really do enjoy working from home, and we see good productivity from home. So I think we want to encourage that. We have the office here in Utah for people that do want to come in, but yeah, it's pretty much remote first. So
Interesting.
having run my ecom business and having to deal with warehousing and offices, it's definitely a relief for us because especially in e-commerce. Like these offices, like we're in here, are awesome because they're a little bit more self-managed. Like you have a team that does facilities and whatnot, but for a lot of e-com brands, you have to kind of do everything yourself: the trash service, the cleaning services, the Wi-Fi will go down, like everything, and just having to deal with all the facilities work is a huge headache. So I think just being able to focus on like the actual business and not the like office facilities is good for staying lean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were talking a little bit before of, what other hobbies do you have when you're not building your company? And you said, I'm pretty busy and pretty happy building my company. So you mentioned you do a little bit of skydiving, but other than that, you're kind of like heads down. Um, as you've got all the problems and all the fun upside of doing a startup, how do you manage people's expectations where the buck does stop with you, right? Like, hey, we need to get these numbers, or hey, this investor wants to talk to you, or hey, we need to fire this person, right? Like
Well,
everything under the sun. How do you personally kind of manage your time?
um, I'm definitely all over Slack all the time. We're heavily on Slack, kind of checking in with the different departments. I have a really good team. Like we have very strong leaders, I would say. So they're pretty good at managing their departments. So definitely been lucky with that. Utah is a amazing place for talent, I've seen. There's a lot of people that are very dedicated and very hardworking, which has been awesome to see. Um, Before Miami, I lived in Los Angeles, and you get kind of a different work ethic there. So yeah, I think just like having the team that's been uh, on top of stuff has helped me a ton. So I'm pretty much just yeah checking in with people, helping them get through some roadblocks here and there. The integrations with Shopify and the different ecom platforms and stuff are a little nuanced, and I have quite a bit of experience with that. So sometimes I'm helping the team get through that. Um, but yeah, I go in it day by day and have fun building the company. Like I said, this is my second company. I sold my previous one, and I just it's a lot of fun to build something, right? So
Yeah.
I enjoy just working with the team every day on challenges and trying to build a cool company together. So I think you say the buck stops with me, but at the same time, we're very like everyone's responsible for the success of the company, right? So I think
Yeah.
I don't put myself as like, oh, I'm the CEO, I'm gonna I'm the head I help direct people, but ultimately like they're helping build the business as well. So definitely a lot of like uh definitely we put a lot of responsibility in our team. Yeah.
Yeah. I I don't have a theory for this. Maybe there is one, right? But like, um, if you're in a position, which it sounds like you are, you can go away for 3 days on a vacation and feel happy and know that everything else is going good. Because there's lots of CEOs that are like, I can't even do that, right? Like I can go, but I won't be engaged. I'll be like looking at my phone and I won't enjoy it, right? So it sounds like you're in a good spot there where you've got folks that the buck stops with them, which is a great thing.
Yeah, yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. I definitely like to travel. But when I'm traveling, I'm again constantly on Slack. I think I'm pretty engaged. I guess you'd have to ask the people that I'm traveling with, but uh, yeah, I think the business right now is very fun. I'm able to travel. Quite a few of our employees travel a lot, and just being remote first, they're able to do that. We have like a new engineer we hired, for instance, who's going to Hawaii next month. He's traveling a lot. I think his dad is a pilot, so he gets to
Oh,
go
there you
on
go.
trips with him a lot. But yeah, I think travel is like important to me, and the ability for my employees to travel too. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's there's some stress, but it's been pretty decent, smooth sailing, I guess, so far.
That's great. Last question. You guys as a company, how do you guys forecast? Is it like, here's our goals for the year, here's our goals for the next 3 months? Because you have all these methodologies and stuff, but the human mind always is looking forward to like, man, it would be great if we were in this position in a year from now. And everyone views it differently. How do you guys view your roadmap?
Well, I mean, we definitely have a revenue target that we set for the end of the year, based on some historical numbers and what we think like the year-over-year build can be. The sales team has a quota every month to hit that like end goal for the year. So yeah, definitely. They're feeling pretty good this month because they think they're like almost at their quota and it's middle of the month.
There you go.
Yeah.
So then it's you're dialed in there, and you can just plan like a fun party at the end of the
Yeah.
month to reward yourself.
Yeah, the plan is if we hit our revenue goal for the end of the year, then I'm gonna take everyone to Cayman Islands.
There you go.
So
Yeah, you got to have a little bit of fun and
Yeah.
things to look forward to,
yeah,
because at some point we'll all be old and look back, and you'll
Yeah.
have the memories of like the team building and camaraderie. And but if it's all in an office or just looking at a computer screen, you're missing out on a lot of life there. So,
yeah,
well,
for sure.
I commend you on your website, because again, somebody that doesn't shop online, I got a kick out of some of the gifts that you guys had of people stealing packages and kicking them and all of that. So for me, I was
we
like,
love
entertained.
gifts.
Yeah.
For sure.
I usually don't spend much time on websites, but with this one, I spent quite a bit of time. So whoever designed that and came up with the way it flows, it was actually entertaining, and it gave me a lot of info on like how to talk to you about your company, which oftentimes it doesn't. Right? It's like I don't know what they do.
Yeah.
I'll have to talk to them about it.
We have an amazing VP of design that put it together. So
It's really,
come out
really
cool.
well done. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Julian. It's opposite of Miami weather here currently in March, but I hope you enjoy your time here, and congrats to you and your team on all your success.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You bet.